Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're taking a look at my Challenger SRT8, my 2009. Has just about 37,500 miles. It's a 6-speed Tremec 6060 manual, and I've had this car for 7 months now, and we're now taking a look at it and see how many miles I put on over the 7 months and if I still love the car since I bought it. So let's hop in, go for a ride, and I'll explain to you why I still love this vehicle. All right, reason number one why I still love the vehicle. You can just listen to how loud that exhaust is. I know my neighbors just absolutely hate me because this exhaust sounds so dang good. Just got a great rumble to it, and it sounds great. Reason number two, of course, it being a manual. But that exhaust just sounds great. There needs to be a quiet mode in this thing, so when I leave the neighborhood, it doesn't wake everybody up, but that's okay. As you can see, it's got 37,514 miles on it. Now we're driving right away. I have to apologize for driving in the dark this morning, but I figured I was on my way into work and would do a quick little review here. So, waking up all the neighbors. That's too much fun. Oh my goodness. So, reason number one why I bought this vehicle and why I still love it over 7 months. So actually I want to hit on this. So I put on 701 miles now since I bought the car, including transport back, since January. And I really didn't start driving this until May. So I've actually put on quite a fair amount of miles here. I'll probably end up around 1,500 by the time the year is over with, maybe a little bit more. And it's honestly, it's just too much fun to drive because of that manual experience. You just don't get that experience much anymore. I try to drive this about, this is honestly, this is the most I've driven it here. Today and yesterday will be the most I've driven it in quite a while. Otherwise, I try to drive this about once a week. In the summertime, that's about all I have time to do, is just the once a week. So I love getting back to why I bought the car. It's a manual. I love driving manual. You don't get this experience anymore, and in an affordable price for somebody like me, unless this was their main car, and I just can't afford to have that as my main car. So it's an experience for me like no other. I've never had a manual car before. As we take this corner, oh man, it's just too much fun. So as we take the corner, you just don't get an experience like a manual anymore in today's vehicles, unless you're paying, top dollar. And a lot of us can't afford that. So I bought this car for $22,000. It was probably the best $22,000 I ever spent. I didn't necessarily need to spend the money, but I wanted a manual experience in a Mopar with a ton of horsepower. And this gave it to me with that 6.1 liter Hemi V8 and some modifications on it. She's pushing about, I'm guessing, 450 to 470 on the horsepower, and right around there for the torque too. It's just a joy to drive. The Tremec 6060 is, and there's a reason why they're still using this transmission today. It's such a good transmission. It's so smooth. The shifts, at least in the Dodge here, are notchy and easy to, for the most part, rev match. And once this transmission warms up, it's great. It's so easy for a beginner like myself to use. And that's one thing I have to say. I'm a novice at driving a manual. This is the first manual car I've ever owned. My parents used to own manuals when I was younger. I think one of them was a Subaru Forester manual, and then I had a buddy who owned a manual when I was in college, so I drove that a little bit, but not a lot. So this is my first real experience in a manual, and I have to say I absolutely love it. It's so fun to drive. It never gets old, especially when, I only drive it maybe once a week. So it never gets old to me. I always enjoy driving it. It's comfortable. The first generation SRT seats are some of the most comfortable seats on the market today, maybe besides the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. I would take these seats over my AMG GLE 43 that I have. This seat is so much better. It's supportive even for a smaller person. It's so comfortable. It's like sitting on my couch at home, except just more bolster. You could definitely take a long road trip in this vehicle. And the suspension isn't overly harsh on it. I find the suspension on my 300 SRT, and that could be just weight distribution of the car. This is a little bit more front end oriented when it comes to weight distribution, but I find the 300 a little bit better driving. And this, while it is stiff, that's too much fun. So while this is stiff, it's not overbearing. So it gives you that slight sports car, more muscle car feeling when you're driving, but it does have some forgiveness to it. So you definitely can road trip this. It handles bumps and potholes very good. You don't have to worry about that. It's really just a great vehicle when it comes to driving. And like I said, though, and this is no fault of its own, it's a big, heavy front engine V8. So instead of being a 50-50 weight distribution, it's more of a 60-40 leaning towards the front. So I could definitely feel that when it comes to driving. The front feels like it's heavier. There feels like there is no steering feel, and that's one complaint a lot of people have about these SRTs. Not a lot of steering feel when it comes to an SRT product. There could be more for sure, but the rear feels like it's gonna go out, and that's more so than my 300 or a Charger, because that weight distribution, like I said, is more 50-50. So this is definitely, you have to be a little bit more careful when you're giving it throttle so you're not spinning out all the time. You'll go through tires in this if you don't have any sort of discipline. You'll go through tires very, very fast in this vehicle, which, hey, that's okay. If you got the money, you can spin out your tires and roast them. So over the 7 months, so it's just such a joy. My girlfriend finally drove this a week ago or so, and she really enjoyed it. When I bought it, she wasn't so sure that she liked it, because I already had my 300 SRT, and she loves that vehicle. But after she finally drove it with the manual, she came to love the vehicle, because it is just that much fun to drive, because you don't get that experience. And yes, it is super fast. That I do have to say, it is super fast. But I'm not interested in speed so much, because I live in an area where there's so many animals on the road in northern Wisconsin. You have to worry about deer. You have to worry about bear. You have to worry about turkeys on the road. I live in an area where you don't necessarily want to be speeding all the time, and you necessarily can't get away with it. A lot of hills, a lot of blind hills, blind corners, that type of stuff. So yes, speed is nice, 0 to 60 is nice, but for me, I'm not drag racing anybody, so I am not worried about my 0 to 60 time so much. I just want a cool Mopar driving experience, and this is the experience that gave it to me. So with that being said, my 7 months of ownership on this vehicle has been great. it's actually a very practical vehicle. I'm taking this after I go to work today. I'm taking this, throwing my golf clubs in the back, grabbing a buddy, sitting in the passenger seat here, and we're going up and going golfing, and we can fit 2 clubs in the back and have a very cool ride to get there with. So that's what enticed me about this car as well. Instead of getting, let's just say, a manual Crossfire or a Crossfire SRT6 with the automatic, just you can't get that overall experience in an SRT6. You can't get a manual, and you can't get the golf club storage in the back or any sort of storage in the back. And not saying that, you know, I daily this, because I don't daily this, but just for that odd chance that, you know, I want to go golfing, I need to fit my golf clubs in the back, this vehicle can do it. And yes, I do own a golf course, but if I want to go to a different golf course, this is usually my ride, this or the 300 that takes me there. And they both have large trunks, so this vehicle fit the bill for me. I truly absolutely love the vehicle. And if you guys are seriously looking for a Mopar and you don't live in a city, I live in a very rural area where you really never have to worry about the manual at a stoplight, you gotta pick yourself up one of these SRT8s in a manual, whether it's an 09, 10, or you get the 11 or newer, or 15 and newer. Scat Pack doesn't matter. RT even with the 5.7. I've had 3 of those engines in my trucks and in the Durango. And let me tell you, those engines are just as nice as a 6.1 or a 6.4. You just don't get the speed, but you get all of the sound and the noise. So, with that being said, I don't really want to touch on the creature comforts in here. Yes, I could have got a newer one, a newer 5.7 for a better price with, newer tech in here. I don't get automatic headlights, or I don't get automatic high beams. I don't get automatic rain sensing wipers. I don't get adaptive cruise control. I don't get the Uconnect 8 system. It's basically all older tech, but that's okay for me. I love an analog experience, as everything is going more digital now. I love the analog experience. My Ram truck is all digital. My girlfriend's AMG GLE is all digital. So I love the Volt is all digital. So I love having a Chrysler product that is analog and that I can connect with the car completely. And with that, folks, I honestly haven't had anything bad happen to me over the 7 months of ownership. All I had to do was an oil change and put new tires on the rear, and that's it. So any of you wondering the reliability of it, this has 37,524 miles, and my 300 SRT8 is a little bit higher mileage with 77,000 miles. It just passed over on that this year, and I have had 0 issues with both on engine and transmission. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed making this video. I love this car, and we will see you in the next episode. Like and subscribe.